Hi everyone, I'm Joni. Welcome back to my channel for another acrylic painting tutorial. For this painting, you're going to be needing a 9x12 double primed and stretched canvas. I pre-painted mine black. You're going to need some white. I'm using titanium white by Liquitex Basics. These are all heavy-bodied acrylics I'm using, except for the base coat. And the black I'll be using is Mars Black here. Same brand. These are really good products and I recommend them for all levels, skill levels. The very first thing I'm going to do is take a flat brush and I'm going to add a little bit of water to my brush. We're going to just apply white in the center, creating this glow for a backdrop, and then we're going to go across down here. Then we'll begin painting our slipper. And I'm just going to wet my brush down a little bit. Take some white paint, just a little bit more water. That's really going to help the paint flow easily. And we're just going to go up and down, simple brush strokes. So see how dry that looks? I'm going to add a little bit of water now, and that will really help to thin it out and blend it better. So I get a little bit nicer gradation. We want to keep the edges really dark and have it gradually get brighter and brighter in the center. Okay, and I'm going to apply some more white on top of that. When painting on a black canvas, it's important to know that it will, whatever you're adding on top, will dry a little bit darker. So you might want to be a little bit more generous. I'm always a little bit more generous with my highlights. Okay, and now I'm just going to go side to side. Again, picking up a little bit of water helps thin that out. And then down again. Take a little bit more white. Okay, I'm going to dry this off. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, this is all dry now. I'm going to go back over to my flat brush once more, and right about here, I'm going to add a bright spot, and then I'm going to go over a few spaces, maybe just like an inch or so in between. I'll rinse my brush off and switch over to one of my small Filbert brushes. I want you guys to know you can use any brush you want for this. I'm not saying you have to have this brush to paint this. This is just what I personally feel comfortable with using. So I'm using this little Filbert brush today, which is a size 8. I've gotten my brush just a little bit wet, and I'm just going to, it's just a little bit wet, and the paint is still a little bit wet, so I'm going to use it to flick off a few reflections of sparkles coming from the glass slipper. I'm going to add a little bit more white down here, brighten this spot up. Add a little bit more light back here. Okay, now we can start coming in with the shape of our shoe here. And I'm going to start the base right in here. And it slightly comes out just a little bit rounded and wider, just a little bit though. And then we're going to go up just to about there, over, slant, in, down, and across. Bring it just slightly up off the ground, and then diagonal right there, and then back in. Then we're going to go slightly in, up, curve, wrap around. So see where this little diagonal, rounded diagonal line is? That's your point for the starting of the inside of the shoe and the heel. Let that be your guide. Okay, and then we're gonna just keep going where we left off. We're gonna scoop down like this, a slight little scoop, and then another one back up, leaving a little space in between. Just straighten that out a little bit. Add just another little flat loop right down here, and then I'm going to add a little bit more light. And then I'll go and leave a little space in there, wrap around. Another little reflection of light. And we're at a line like this. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of water, and I'm going to add a slight little sparkly reflection, very light. Okay, then I'm going to come in with a little bit more white, and I'm going to start adding some lighter spots where we've got some highlights. So just easing into it. Add a little line like this to the halfway mark in the middle of the heel. And then we're gonna go from that point and then bring it over to the left. So you want it to look a little patchy like this. As this dries, I want to come back and add more white paint. We're going to add a little line here. And right from here, from where it curls over here, you want to bring it up so it's diagonal, so it looks like a diamond right here, okay? Just wetting my brush a little bit. Gonna add my first triangle, second, and then a long skinny one right here. Then a little line down here. So we have two other triangles. Then right from this point here, just going to go over these lines again, just straight white. And cut over right there to make another triangle. Paint this one in nice and bright, leaving about that much the dark base color. I'm going to just paint this one in. It's really bright. And then we have another one. That comes in here. Just do one brush stroke at a time with me, guys, one line at a time. And if yours don't match up, that's okay. It's gonna look nice no matter what. They can all have a different pattern. As long as you have your sparkles, light and shadows, it'll work. So just lots of triangles. And then a few lines down here. We're going to go up from the base of the toe and cut over. And then it gets really bright right in here, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more white. Working on the other side of the shoe. And we're going to come in with some dark gray in a minute and start really bringing some contrast and shading in. That's going to help give us the reflections that we want. I'm going to dab. There's all sorts of little lines and wiggles and kind of squiggly lines in here. And then just gently start pulling to create those little sparkles, a little bit of white in the center, and then just like you're painting stars. And same with right here. Have one that just goes flat right off the heel, and then one that comes out there. You could add a couple other little ones if you want. And a little bit more white again. I'm gonna add just a little dab right in here. Come right down here, bring it out a little bit. Don't go all the way to the bottom. Fill it in with some white. I have another sparkle here. Some wiggly lines, slide diagonally. We have a little sparkle right here, short little flicks. With a clean brush, I'm gonna just wiggle and get it on the very tip of my brush here. I'm gonna come inside a little bit, like more straight down there. And we'll bring it down. Then I'm gonna go and curl, just for a few little designs in the glass. Add a little bit of black down here, a little bit right on the toe underneath. Pull out and around the highlights, and those are for that's for the shadows. Add a little bit of black, just sliding your brush right at the base of the shoe, leaving some spaces so we have a little bit of each, and then push, pull inside. Take a little bit of white make some darker gray tones. The tiniest bit of water that'll help the paint flow out of my brush easily. You'll see the background white base coat we did goes up and down, straight up and down. The gray, black, and white that we're applying to the shoe has a direction of going on a slant like this on this area here. Up a little bit more black, and I'm going to come in right here. Let me just take a little bit more here. Black on the tip of my little filbert brush. We're going to go down like this. Go inside. Bring that one down there and curve over here. A little bit more black. Right where we left off with the white on this side, remember the bright white? We're leaving a little bit of a space between this bright, bright, sparkly highlight of a little bit of gray, and then we're gonna come in and just bring a little loop of black, loop farther over to the right, then bring it in and go up. And then add another little outline right there on the heel. Pick up a little bit of light gray. I'm gonna dab, dab, dab. A few little dabs in here that go across for more kind of sparkles and reflections, and then slightly up like that without barely touching. For that sparkle again, that little dab of white here, here, and here, and we'll add some sparkles off of those. Then we've got another one right in this section. So I'll quickly switch over to a little liner brush so we can get some really fine lines here for our sparkles. And then what you can do is come back with a little dab of white to really brighten those up. I'm gonna go off of this one. It really helps to like have your hand steady by placing your pinky. Okay, I'm gonna pick up some more white now. I'm gonna get as close as I can to the inside of the shoe, which is that black line. And here I'm gonna come around with the side, other side, make it nice and bright. I'm gonna go over that diagonal line again. Add a sparkle right off of here. It's just so fun and effective to create light and shadow using black canvas. Even like dark gray works too. Just adding a few more sparkles here and there. Sparkles and highlights just with my little liner brush and some white. We're going to bring this white up to meet in between those little scoops for that neat design. Now you can make yours as sparkly as you want or less than mine. It's up to you. Really, really bright right here though. Okay, just rinsed my brush off. And I'm just going to pull off a few little sparkles right here, just a few little lines. I'm going to use a really small flat brush and take a little bit of black and white again to make gray. Be a little bit darker. I'm going to get as close as I can to the white outline. So you want to leave a little space in there. And then if you happen to go over it, just bring it back and add it all in there again. Gentle little pulls like this. Pretty dry brush, so you don't need a lot of paint. I'm gonna make this a little bit of a brighter sparkle just by placing my pinky here, pulling from the center of that little sparkle and adding a few little flicks. And then we have a bright, bright one right here as well. So I'm just gonna flick, flick. Add some more. I think we're just about ready to start adding a little butterfly. What I want to do though is come in and add the shadow on the floor. So I'm going to be using a little bit of watered down gray. And we're going to come from here, bring it in slightly to a point like this. Now I can be a little bit more generous, add some more black. I know I need it. It's better to have it lighter to start. This is just the shadow that we're working on. And then we have one that wraps around and then comes in here and kind of overlaps. Loop. Water my brush down a little bit. So softer shadow, lighter and softer shadow up here. And then it gets darker down here. And it will naturally too, because we've got that dark black base coat already. A little bit more black and I'll just come right off the edge here. Dry brush it up just partially here. Taking a little bit of watered down gray. and then straight black. So you want to go diagonally like this, and then have it start to go flat with little lines. Okay, so now we can start working on the little butterfly. So I'm going to continue to just use this little flat brush, and we're going to add, it's facing this way and it's flat. So we're just going to go out, add a little wing there, add one right here, another one here, another one there. Paint it in. Wash my brush out. Now I'm going to switch over to my liner brush, my little liner brush here. And I'm going to take some white, mix it up to make gray. And I'm going to outline. Need a little bit more white. And then we'll just do a few loops. Then take a little dab of white on the tip of your brush. We're going to add a sparkle there, and then just dab little sparkles. Maybe they're little diamonds, but they're going to sparkle. Okay, I'm going to use this brush, place my pinky here. Go back over to my little flat brush. And re-dab the inside sparkle there. And any other little areas we want to sparkle. I'm gonna just bring the shoe down a little flatter with a little bit of dark gray and my little flat brush. Bring it down a little bit lower. And go right under the base of this one. Take a little bit of white. And then dab, 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 dab. Little sparkles and reflections. And then just dry brush a few little loops and lines and dabs in here. And then soften. Like that, just a little bit brighter. Bring this out, just a little line all the way to the edge of the canvas. Okay, well, this painting is all done. I hope you guys learned a lot today. So I want to wish you guys all the best, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Thanks, everyone. Bye.